Hi, my name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. In this segment, I share with you some thoughts as to what's happening in today's job market, especially in the Toronto area and across Canada. So in some of the job news that has come up over the last little while, Toronto entered stage 3 of reopening last week. If and when schools do reopen, if that happens in September, it will mean more people will be able to go back to work. But unfortunately, this pandemic has caused a significant number of women to lose their jobs over the last little while. So this is why they're calling this the she recession instead of the he recession. In the she recession, there's been about 60 to 65% of jobs that were lost were females. And in the last recession in 2008, 2009, we had about 60 to 65% of people that were male who lost their jobs. So in this time, according to the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives, 70% of workers who lost their jobs in March specifically were women. And remember that 1 million jobs were lost in the month of March. And 1 in 5 workers lost their jobs in February and March that were women. So pretty staggering numbers on the women's side. There was another study that came out in Hong Kong, which found that the majority, 86% of employees, are concerned about their job security this year, but half of them are actively looking for a new gig. And even if they're not looking, 1 in 3 are actually open to exploring new opportunities. In other job news, there was another study that found that 30% of companies in April had a hiring freeze, but in June, only 18% of companies had a hiring freeze. So obviously things are starting to open up, albeit slowly. In terms of CERB, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, the Canadian government announced last week that it created a new transitional benefit for workers who have exhausted their CERB and don't qualify for EI, including gig and contract workers. So meanwhile, Canadians who are eligible for EI will be transitioned to that platform as CERB ends up expiring on or around September 26th. And Prime Minister Trudeau said that the new benefit will operate similar to EI and will include access to training and reduced clawbacks for hours worked. So an interesting study also that came out as well, which talked about hiring decision makers. And they talked about the worst words that they wanted to see on a resume. And the top word that people disliked, that is hiring decision makers, the number one, can you think of it? Number one was best. It was disliked by 76% of those surveyed, best on somebody's resume. Motivated was number 2, dedicated was number 3, and there's a list of the top 10. If you're interested, just send me a message and I'll let you know what the rest of the top 10 are. The trend to working from home also continues. Canada has experienced obviously a huge shift to remote work, with about 1/3 of Canadians now officially working from home throughout the pandemic. While some jobs require that employees be physically present, such as mail couriers, healthcare workers, and so on, many office jobs can transition to remote with minimal difficulty. So some of the companies that have announced that they're asking employees to stay home till at least 2021 include Shopify, RBC, Scotiabank, TD, OpenText, and TELUS. And other international companies with offices also located in Canada have also asked employees to stay home, and that includes Google, Apple, and Amazon. So obviously a big shift is happening. The pandemic unemployment could also cause a $25,000 loss in earnings over the next 5 years for new graduates in Canada. So this will really impact the class of 2020. This is a StatsCan analysis that showed. And they ran a simulation at the agency that showed that graduates face losing out on more than $25,000 in earnings between now and 2025. So huge impact as well to students. May's unemployment rate for the age group of 15 to 24-year-olds was 29.4%. And that was higher than rates during previous recessions in the 80s, 90s, and late 2000s. So of course, students are going to be heavily impacted by what's going on here as well. Some of the hot jobs that we're recruiting for through our Toronto Jobs recruiting division, we have a CFO position with a large distribution organization near Hamilton, Ontario. We have a senior manager with a CPA firm doing audits, reviews, and notice to readers, and that is in North York. And then we also have a financial advisor role working anywhere in the Greater Toronto area. It is a commission-based only type position, and it is within the financial services industry. If you are interested in more information about any of those positions, please email your resume to resumes@TorontoJobs.ca, or you can also visit TorontoJobs.ca, hover over the Recruitment Division tab at the top and select Recruitment Openings. And from there, you can apply directly to those openings. Some of the upcoming events that we have in the next little while include, I'm on Facebook, on this Facebook TorontoJobs.ca group page every weekday at 12 o'clock p.m. I talk about a different topic, and feel free to join me. And TorontoJobs.ca presents a number of virtual events coming up. That includes the Public Accountants Conference for non-partners that happens this Thursday, August 6th. We have the Canadian Virtual HR Conference that happens Wednesday, August 12th. The Canadian Music Expo for music fans that happens on Saturday, August 15th. So if you know a musician who might be interested in performing or being involved, let them know about it. We have the Virtual Tech Career Conference that happens on Tuesday, August 25th. There's the TorontoJobs.ca Virtual Career Conference that happens on Wednesday, August 26th. And we also have the Canadian CFO Conference that happens Thursday, August 27th. If you missed any of those, all you have to do is just visit TorontoJobs.ca/news. That's NEWS, TorontoJobs.ca/news, and click on the events option, and you'll find out about all these and more events. Also this week, we have the job numbers that are coming out for July for both Canada and the US, and those come out this Friday, August 7th. So if you're a job seeker, 3 things that you can think about doing this week. Sign up for one of our upcoming TorontoJobs.ca virtual events that I just mentioned. Make sure you're not the next person to be scammed when you're applying for a position. So check out my video on our TorontoJobs.ca YouTube channel, which will give you some information about how to avoid being scammed through a fraud or fraudulent posting. And finally, if you're working from home, make sure to take breaks regularly from the computer. Give your eyes a break. Make sure to rest your eyes and go for a walk. So in conclusion, stay positive. Make this the best week you've had so far. My name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can follow TorontoJobs.ca on all our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram pages. Feel free to comment, like on this posting as well. And finally, if you are interested in checking out our postings on TorontoJobs.ca, you can email us your resume to resumes@TorontoJobs.ca, and we'll try to share some tips with you as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and stay safe.